Welcome back to the Wildlands, and tonight it's very exciting. We've got a new series for you which is going to run for 2 months, and we're calling it the 40 Days Homesteading Challenge. And we've basically broken down our week into 5 working days, and we're going to go work flat out on those 5 days for a total of 40 days, 2 months, and see what the many jobs that need doing on the Wildlands we can get done.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
We've got a whole bunch of different projects on the go. And number one, we're back in the cabin, and we're going to try and get as much of the cabin done as we can with the materials that we have. So the very first thing we're doing is we're plastering all the little cracks in between the plasterboards downstairs. And once we've gone over that, we're going to sand the roof joists above us, because that needs doing before we can do the wallpapering, which is lining paper that we're going to do so that Rosie can paint.
And we've also got to fill in all the cracks where the roof joists here. So Rosie's decided that she wants the roof joists left as wood, which we're going to stain, and then we've also got a wallpaper in between here. That's going to be fun, isn't it?
And then after we've done all those kinds of things, we've got windows to fit in properly, because they're not 100% yet. We're going to go upstairs and plasterboard that with insulation.
Yep.
That's all cabin stuff. Do you want to give us a sneak peek into the kinds of other projects we've got going on in the next 40 days?
I will indeed. So what we realised is that we've always had too many jobs, and the list seems to get longer rather than shorter the more jobs we achieve. So we basically wrote a list of every job that needed doing, and then we prioritised it, which might be according to need or weather, time of year, or other factors. So for example, one of the jobs is I've started building what we call the new nursery garden, which is half food forest and half garden area to grow on plants that we're going to sell in the Wildlands plant nursery. So that's on the list, so that needs to be done. It's fairly time specific, because any trees that are going into that area really need to be planted before the end of November.
That's the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, so therefore the beds need to be at least lain out so that we can then get the trees in, and then the perennials to go in could go in maybe in early December, but again really that's fairly all time specific. So that's on the list according to the fact it needs to be done by the end of November, which is not very far off.
Then another daft little job that we've got that really isn't that urgent at all, but we've got a whole pile of OSB in here. It was going to be part of Rosie's floor, and she changed her mind. So now we have 4 large sheets of OSB going spare. So I said, why don't we knock up that other toilet unit that we were talking about for the last 3 years? So we have to get them out of the cabin. So we have to build a toilet.
Yep.
So we've ordered a little bit of roof for it, and we're going to make everything else out of scraps that we have left over from building the cabin and so on. So we're going to make ourselves a little composting toilet outside, aren't we? We
have, and we've set ourselves a really good challenge on the toilet, which is we're going to get it finished in 5 days.
That's a mini challenge within the bigger challenge.
Yeah. So, and then when you break that down, so those of you that watch our channel and have done for 2 years will remember the original cabin build with the toilet on the side that we've slowly dismantled. The rest of that's got to come out because it's not safe. So we've basically got to start from scratch. So the challenge that we're doing in the 5 days is basically to get these OSB boards that Missy mentioned out of here and up as 4 walls in the toilet, get the foundation finished, the 4 inner walls up and the roof on, and that will be a 5-day challenge. And then the second 5-day challenge at a later date will be to shingle the side of the walls, make it look pretty, and get the compost toilet functioning.
Put in a window and a door, things like that.
Yeah, and that all, we want to get the whole of the toilet ready to use by the end of the 40-day challenge, so within the 40-day challenge. So that's finishing the cabin, starting and finishing a toilet build, getting the trees planted in the new nursery area.
And there's a whole bunch of other jobs that we'll tell you about as we go on.
Yeah.
But for now...
So it's going to be like Anneka Rice on the BBC, isn't it? It's going to be like,
God,
right, quick, follow us round now for the next challenge. Can we get it done in time?
Well, we just thought having a bit of a deadline and a bit of a push would spur us on. So we're starting at 9 and we're finishing at 4 every day. So 6 hours, maybe 8 if when one of us goes to cook dinner, the other one carries on for a couple of hours, and we're just going to go. Be like when we were building out the van. It was go, and we put all our energy into it.
As we can,
and then by finishing by the end of November, and then we can relax for December again.
And I can hear some of you going, oh, that's not a very long day finishing at 4, which is true. However, when you're homesteading or off-grid, it doesn't just end at 4 and we sit down and get a cold beer out. It's washing up, it's cooking, it's watering plants, maybe it's putting some seeds out, potting things on, walking the dogs and so on and so on. So actually it goes on till about 8 o'clock, but we've got other chores to do as well. So it's going to be exciting. So it's go, 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 isn't it?
Yep, we've got our scruffies on. We're ready to do some plastering.
The other thing that's very exciting, that's a little bit new to the Wildlands, is we're going to do extra footage and put it exclusively onto Patreon and or Buy Me a Coffee. So you'll get extra insights into what we're doing, how the challenge is going.
That'll be very rough edits, it won't be beautiful video like we put up on YouTube.
No.
It's just going to be literally, we grab our phone and we film what we're doing right then and there, and we pop that straight up, or take pictures and put them in galleries, write some quick notes. A bit more like you're sitting in the room with us following along day to day.
Absolutely. So really it's also a way of thanking those of you that support us on Patreon, which we're exceptionally grateful for. So we want to give you more insights. And so if you want to see extra stuff, head on to Patreon, have a look and see what's available. That'll be going up very soon. So really excited about that.
And Buy Me a Coffee as well.
We're
going to put both on there because we get different supporters on both and we really appreciate that. So yeah, giving something back.
Day 2 of our 40-day homesteading challenge. So let's have a quick update on what we achieved on day 1. So as you can see behind me, Missy is plastering. We're basically on to our second and possibly final coat on the plaster gaps. These are these gaps going up the walls. Along the top we're filling all the gaps, ready for wallpapering, so that's very exciting. So good progress on that yesterday. Also yesterday you can see in situ is the ladder. Although we had loosely planned out the stairs when we put the ceiling on, we've now properly planned out the stairs. So we're going to start the stairs, I think, in the very near future. So it's very exciting. It's going to be quite sharp, so we had to think about it very carefully because Rosie's changed the design slightly. She wants it to be open, so that means that you'll be able to see front to back like you can now through the ladder. And then up here we'll have some shelves, and then obviously this will be you'll be able to see through here. There'll be a banister here and banister up the side, but it'll mean that you can see from front to the back of the cabin, which I think it will make it more light, easy to heat. Will create the illusion that it's not as small as it actually is. So let's get on with day 2 of the 40-day homesteading challenge. Morning, so it's another new day, day 3, isn't it?
It is.
And what we've been up to yesterday.
So far we have got all of the cracks plastered. That's the cracks between plasterboards. Apart from ones that we can't reach because they're behind the OSB. And we've gone around all the tops where there were little gaps because it was really hard to cut the plasterboard to fit exactly. So that's all done, and it's all had its second coats. So it's basically ready just to be sanded down so it's completely smooth and ready to have wallpaper over it. And we've started sanding all of the roof beams because Rosie wants to keep them exposed, like a medieval kind of house kind of vibe. That's not much fun because you have to do it above yourself, and it's kind of hard on the, doing that, it's hard on the arm and you get dust in your face, but it's nearly done. So what's on the job list for today?
Well, also yesterday we spent a lot of time debating the stairs, and then we went to the DIY shop and we bought the rest of the wood for the stairs. So I'll just get up and I'll show you. So we decided to go for much thicker wood. You can see it's about 1 inch thick, 3 centimetres it is, and it's quite chunky. So that is going to be the stair tops, 52 centimetres long, so I'm pleased with that. So we've got all the wood that we need to start the stairs. So first of all, we've got to finish the jobs that Missy just mentioned, get this plastering done and get that sanded down as well, haven't we?
Yep. And when all that's done, we've also gone and bought, when we were in town, we bought the lining paper.
Yep.
So it's just plain white lining paper that some people put underneath their wallpaper. That's what Rosie's going to paint. And we've decided to go for that instead of plastering the walls because we don't have any experience with plastering and we just didn't think we could do a good enough job. We'd have it lumpy and bobbly and it'd be really hard to smooth it out, and I think it would just be so much of a headache. Plus, because of the fact that we've used plasterboards, and it's a wooden house and it moves and it breathes, and in summer everything contracts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wood, and in winter when it gets a little bit damper everything expands a bit. I thought there'd just be going to be too much movement and plaster would probably crack. So by using wallpaper, that's a bit more forgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, and somebody did comment on a previous cabin build video and said, why don't you just get a plasterer in to do it properly for you and get the job done. Absolutely would love to get a plasterer in to get the job done. However, having spoke to a plasterer, we just couldn't afford it either, along with what Missy just said as well. So we decided, you'll notice, I'll show you again the plastering that we've done in between the joins or the cracks, and you'll see what Missy means about the quality of our plastering. But we've done a good job, I'm pleased with it. I think once it's sanded down, it's going to look great.
You won't even notice when the wallpaper's on top of it, and then Rosie's going to paint it and it'll look lovely.
So good progress. And also later on today, we're going down to the garden, aren't we?
Ah yes, part of the jobs list. We're going to have an open day in about a week and a half for the nursery. And so we just need to do a little bit of tidying up. We've had some really strong winds, so things are blown over, and sort out our plants a little bit. And that's part of the jobs list, because that'll be the last thing that we really do with the nursery this year.
Yeah.
We've got a few more plants coming in. We've got some orders coming in, which is exciting. And we'll have to put those away and find them homes for the winter. And then it's just wrapping everything up and getting it ready for winter, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So it would be nice to have a little open day, sell some
So
plants.
if you're in central Portugal and you'd like to come and visit us on our open day, it's on 19th of October, which is a Saturday. Just drop us an email and come down and have a look at our plants. For those of you new to the channel, we have a small plant nursery here on the Wildlands, which we're slowly building up. So anyone in central Portugal, would love to see you. So back to plastering. Sanding.
Sanding.
Yay! So here's an example with a nice big fat spider of our plastering. So this is basically 2 pieces of plasterboard. This is where the join was, and then we've had to put tape over that and then plaster over the top. And you can see it's not too bad, but we had a few scratches here where the boards are different levels, so we've got to sand that down, as Missy said, get it as smooth as possible, ready for the lining paper to go up. Come on, bud. Woo! And here is the last join, you can see. So we've got to have tape up here and then plaster it once we move the boards, as Missy said earlier. And then these are is an example of the cracks at the top that also need filling on this last piece, and then we're done. Plastering done, which is good news. So the last bit of plastering dry, get that sanded tomorrow, and then we'll get started on the stairs.
And the wallpapering.
And oh yeah, I forgot about the wallpapering. Yep, so wallpapering and getting the stairs up. So very exciting stuff. So now we're on to another job on the list in our 40-day homesteading challenge. What is that?
Well, it's worked out quite well because we actually have the weather for it. We're hoping to get all of our, whenever it's rainy, we can go in the cabin and work, and whenever it's sunny, like today, just this afternoon, then we can come outside and work. So we're going to tidy up the nursery, ready for having visitors. Yep,
so we're going to get rid of any plants that have struggled through the summer, give them a trim, move a few things around, work out what we've got for sale for the open day, and get ready for that.
Yeah.
day 5 of our 40-day challenge, and we're doing 5 days a week, if you remember, 8 hours a day. So it's Friday today, and that means that we don't get the weekend off. Saturday is a day of editing for me, and then Missy has work to do on our events and clubs, and then Sunday is kind of a day off. It's a family day, so I think this weekend, if the weather's good, we'll head off to the lake to walk the dogs, and then Monday we're on to week 2. So we've got a 2-month challenge, so we're 1 week in. So the next job is we're going to start building the stairs very shortly. So we've got this massive 2.5 metre piece of solid pine, which is absolutely beautiful, which is going to be partly Rosie's main desk and partly the top of one section of the landing of the stairs. So we're cutting 55mm off here, and then we're going to make a 55mm square, which is going to be the lid of a landing, because Rosie's having L-shaped stairs. So in front of me, the stairs will go up here, the box will be here somewhere, 55 by 55, and then that'll have 2, maybe 3 steps going up to the landing, and then the diagonals with all the stairs going up to the hatch at the top. So let's get this cut first. So we're building the stairs and problem solving as we go. So one of the problems is, if you look up at the hatch here, where we estimated how the run of the stairs would go, it's actually wrong. So this beam here would mean we've got L-shaped stairs. So if you imagine stairs coming down here, little landing here but way down at the bottom, as you go up onto the landing you can bang your head on here and or here. So we've had to think that through. So we're going to remove this beam, put it against the wall, and cut the OSB out at the top here to make the hole bigger, so that as you go up you don't bang your head. And this one is going to the corner of the box.
Where is cut you?
I've got a pocket jig and a little mini vice, and I'm screwing the jig on here just to hold it in place. And then what you've got is you've got this special drill which is fat and thin, and then you go into the metal holes like so. And then you undo your vice, take the jig off, and you've got 2 diagonal holes which these will screw into, and then about here where you've got the difference thickness, that'll be where the head sits, and then this will come out the bottom. So it's a bit like IKEA flat pack, do it yourself. So end of day 5 of week 1.
Yes, I think we've done well.
We have done well. So what have we done today?
Today we have cut and measured all of the upright bits to go around to frame in the stairs.
Yep.
And you've put pocket holes in the bottom of them.
Correct.
And we've cut out a little bit in the ceiling where we said that we couldn't go up because you bump your head.
So yeah, what is left to do is we've got to move that bit still, haven't we? Got to get our reciprocating saw to cut out that beam that's in the wrong place, and then
we're ready to screw in the uprights.
Yeah, so
we're going to screw them in from upstairs.
Yep.
And screw them into the floor down here. That's good.
Yep, and then once the uprights are in, then we make what we're calling the box, but it's like a landing, but it's only 23 centimetres off the ground, so it's basically a first step, but it's square and large so that you can get around the corner. So that's next. I think once we get these uprights in on Monday, I think we'll be steaming then.
Yes, they're going to need an awful lot of sanding though.
They're filthy.
I want to get a better mask. I don't think our masks were brilliant, so
no, we looked at decent ones, but I think they were like £100, but we should get them really. No.
Oh, I know the other thing we did. We cut down the big bit of wood for Rosie's desk, because if we hadn't thought to cut that down and we built the stairs, there would have been no room to lie down in here to cut it.
So that was clever thinking on your part, wasn't it?
A little bit of a jump ahead. And that's all we've done today. There's an awful lot of moving bits of wood and scrabbling around and scratching our heads.
Yep.
But I think we've done well so far this week. We've achieved loads.
We have, yeah.
The walls are ready for wallpapering,
Yep.
barring a tiny bit more sandpapering. And the stairs are ready for building.
Yeah, and the walls look good. I'm pleased.
Yeah.
They're almost smooth, aren't they? So since we started filming the video, we've been putting out little short 1 or 2 minute videos on Patreon. I think we've had a couple up this week.
Good.
So I want to thank the people that have supported us on Patreon and continue to support us, and for those of you that have joined us new this week to follow this adventure with more detail on our Patreon.
Yep, and I've been putting up snippets on Buy Me a Coffee. That doesn't allow for video, but I have been putting up little behind the scenes photos that haven't gone up on Instagram or anywhere like that. It's just for you supporters to say thanks.
So thanks very much for all your support. Even just a thumbs up and a like and subscribe down the bottom is gratefully received. And we'll see you in a week with an update of next week's progress, or if you're on Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, we'll see you before then with sneak peeks.
So you've just got one day to edit this now, haven't you? Just tomorrow. So Dom's spending tomorrow, Saturday, which is yesterday when you're watching this,
all day
editing, while I do work on my day job to bring in some money. And then Sunday we're going to take Rosie out somewhere nice and spend some time with her, because we've spent all week in the cabin.
And then Monday we will repeat and we start again for the next 2 months.
Great, yay!
So thanks very much for watching. Thanks again for all your support.
And we'll see you again soon. Bye.